So hi, welcome to End Credit Reviews on episode of After the Credits on End Credit Reviews. This is Tyler this time from End Credit Reviews, and this is my belated review on Spider-Man No Way Home. Now I would have went to go see this movie a lot sooner, but the thing was that the tickets went like hotcakes, and I decided to wait till New Year's Eve to watch this movie, and I saw it, a few days ago by the time I'm recording this, and I'm still processing this movie right now because this is just a really fun and good movie. I know that I should have explained kind of the details, the synopsis, what happens, but we've seen the trailers already. We know that it's basically Spider-Man, played by Tom Holland, wants to try to undo the fact that everyone knows he's Spider-Man and seeks out Doctor Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, to perform a spell to try to get most people to forget the fact that he's Spider-Man. However, the spell gets messed up, and then of course there's characters from different universes that pop in and out. Characters from, of course, the older Spider-Man movies from the past show up, and it's up to Peter, Doctor Strange, and Peter's friends to team together to try to deal with this problem. Now, this movie is a whole lot of fun, especially if you're someone like myself who's seen every single Spider-Man movie on the big screen. And yeah, I love seeing all these characters back. I love seeing William Dafoe as the Green Goblin. I just love the fact that you can tell he's really enjoying himself, and part of me was iffy that he didn't have the iconic Green Goblin mask on for most of the movie, but then as the movie went on, I kind of liked the fact that he didn't have the mask on. You can kind of really see him acting as the Green Goblin without his mask on, so you can see how he was really just chewing up the scenery and really stealing the show at times. And I just love how they showed how strong and imposing William Dafoe really was as the Green Goblin, and how even against like the Tom Holland Spider-Man, who's pretty strong as well too, showing at times how he can like easily just dominate him in a fist fight. And then of course I love seeing Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus in this movie. I loved the fact that all the interactions he had with him and all the jokes that Miss Marissa Tomei had as May Parker. There's this funny joke asking if he wants regular water or salt water because his name's Octopus. It was pretty, mildly stupid, but it's still pretty funny nonetheless. And also we see Thomas Hayden Church back as Flint Marko, aka Sandman, from Spider-Man 3. He's like CG throughout most of it. They don't really explain why. He wasn't really like that in the third movie, but it was fine nonetheless. And also I did like how they kept the most of the designs of many of the villains. I know some of them, they kind of changed them up, I think for the better, mainly Jamie Foxx as Electro. I like that they made him more like yellow looking, and when he shoots lightning you kind of see like the old school Electro logo, like a mask around his face when he does that. I really love that they can't ditch the whole. I never liked the blue design he had in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. He just looked like a cross between like Dr. Manhattan and Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin. Yeah, I think this was a much better design, and I also noticed the Lizard was different too. I noticed that he was darker in the scales, and he also had more like reddish eyes, but I feel like the CG on the Lizard was better than the one from the 2012 movie. And I'm trying to remember the actor's name who played the Lizard in that one. I'll probably butcher his name. I think it was the same actor who played Rasputin in the King's Man movie. But yeah, I just love seeing all these villains interacting with each other and talking to each other. It just reminds me of some of my favorite episodes of like Batman the Animated Series, such as Almost Got Him and Trial, where you have all these various villains like with different personalities just bouncing off each other. And of course, the talk of the town is Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield reprising their roles as Spider-Man. Now, it was great seeing these characters just pop in after like Ned opens a portal, because I guess he takes Doctor Strange's kind of like ring thing that can open different portals in that. I guess he can go in different dimensions or whatever. I mean, they don't really explain it that well, but still it's great to see these two iconic, actors and these characters show up, and it was just hilarious seeing their interactions with each other. You probably see it on YouTube. It's been like spoiled for a while. In fact, this is probably the worst kept secret in Hollywood, the fact that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were going to be in this movie. It was just hilarious seeing all the videos of Andrew Garfield just constantly denying the fact that he is in the movie, despite the fact of all the evidence with him. It was just pretty funny and very comedic. I'm pretty sure he was under some kind of contract to try to not give away the fact that he's in the movie, so I respect that, and I understand that he had to constantly keep denying and lying about it, but it was just hilarious seeing this, and it's great that this movie has been selling out. It kind of feels like when I went to go see this movie, there's a lot of people went to go see it on New Year's Eve, but it wasn't like a packed theater, and all the reactions I've seen on the internet after I saw the movie, it felt like pre-2020s, and I just loved it. It just made me feel happy, and this whole movie in general just made me feel happy. I just loved all these characters interact with each other, and in a way I think it does justice to certain characters. For example, I love the part where MJ is like falling to her death, and you think that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is going to save her, but then the Green Goblin like swoops in like psych, grabs him off, and then Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, jumps down and saves her. And I love that because it showed how he may have failed to save his love interest, Gwen Stacy, in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but then he redeemed himself by saving MJ falling down, and I love that moment. And a lot of people, cheered when that happened. And then also, I like the part, too, where Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man stops the Tom Holland Spider-Man from killing the Green Goblin, because the Green Goblin, spoilers again, I mean, I already went, so I forgot to maybe say spoiler ahead, but whatever, it's been out for a while now, and it's hard to review this thing without spoiling anything, so the hell with it, keep going. I'm way past crossing the Rubicon by this point, so might as well keep going. So he kills May Parker, and I guess she's like the Uncle Ben character. She does say the line, with great power, there also must come great responsibility. And yeah, we see like Tom Holland as Spider-Man just almost kills the Green Goblin with his glider, like trying to impale him with it. But I love how Tobey like stops him, saying like, no, this is not right, this is not the way. And then ironically, the Green Goblin stabs Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. But it's a really shocking moment, but at the same time they kind of mildly cop out by saying that, oh, I've been stabbed before already, and they just get like sent home shortly after. And I think what I also appreciate about this movie, aside from the fact that I love seeing both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back as playing Spider-Man on the big screen again, and seeing their interactions with other characters, it was just fun. I could watch it, like a 4-hour movie of just these three guys talking with each other and hanging out. But I also believe it does course correct some things and some issues with the MCU version of Spider-Man, because a lot of people are saying that he doesn't have the same issues that the previous Spider-Man had in the previous movies. So for example, he doesn't have any of the financial issues. He keeps getting like these nice, Spider-Man suits from Tony Stark, and it seems like he never really has any like bad consequences. The only bad thing that really happened to him was a secret identity getting exposed to the world. He never had that issue of like, oh, am I gonna have to pay rent on time, or can I get a date this night or whatever. So at the end, Doctor Strange performs a spell that everyone forgets who Peter Parker is. Even his best friend and also his girlfriend also forgets who he is. So at the end, he's on his own. Aunt May is dead, and he has to get a job and live in a crummy apartment, just like the Spider-Man character did in the comics, and he has to make his Spider-Man suit from scratch with a sewing machine, and goes out swinging. And I loved it because it felt like it really did evaluate all the criticisms that people like myself and others have had on the Tom Holland Spider-Man, and this really did feel like a proper course correction of that. It was a nice looking back in the past with various Spider-Man characters, whether it be the Spider-Man actors or the various Spider-Man villains in this one. And I love the fact that this Spider-Man, the Tom Holland one, was able to learn some things from the previous Spider-Man from the past. And that's what I really enjoyed about this movie. And I'm just still thinking about it days later, and I'm just thinking to myself, man, I had such a fun time watching this movie. I enjoyed myself a lot watching it. And yeah, it was just a fun time. And yeah, there were some things like some MCU stuff where there's kind of like, there's like maybe too many jokes at times, which is kind of a detriment in the MCU. And also the fact of the matter that, again, I just felt like the actor who plays Flash Thompson in these movies, Tony Revolori, I'm sorry if I butchered your name up. I just felt like he was painfully miscast as playing Flash Thompson in these movies. And I felt like the other actors who played Flash Thompson were much better in that. But overall, I would say that the movie itself is a very entertaining movie, and I just think it's interesting of all the various different actors and actresses they got to be in this movie, a very ensemble cast. Yeah, I just really enjoyed this movie a lot, and I think it's easily one of the best movies I've seen of 2021, and I know it's 2022 by the time I'm recording this video and by the time it's released, but Spider-Man No Way Home is easily, without a doubt, indisputably the best in the Home trilogy, or at least of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, and one of the strongest movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I really hope they learn something from this going forward, and I'm really really intrigued to see what they go with the Spider-Man character from this point onward. And it's safe to say this is going to start a new trend in Hollywood where they're going to get various other actors and actresses from previous, franchise or versions of various comic book characters at the very least to come back. I mean, Michael Keaton is already going to play Batman again for the first time in like 30 years to play Batman in the Flash movie. So yeah, this is going to be a thing now. So as for Spider-Man No Way Home, I would give it about 3 to 3.5 stars out of 4. So anyway, this is Tyler from Anchor Reviews, and I hope you enjoyed this episode after the credits on Anchor Reviews, and I hope to make a lot more in the future. Please like and subscribe.